in 1 Samuel, Hannah is praying a prayer, and she says that the Lord is a God of knowledge. Now, what we need to understand is that God's knowledge exceeds and excels the knowledge of all others. Now, in a group this big, we have some highly intelligent people here this morning. There are some real brainiac people here this morning, and some not so much, okay? But there are some who are very, very smart. But you are not as smart as all of us collectively. If you were to take all of our experiences and all of our knowledge and what we know and life skills and on and on and on and combine it together, we're an intelligible group. But our intelligence is lacking in comparison to God's knowledge, what God knows. You see, God's knowledge embraces the past. In other words, there is nothing that has ever happened or occurred in the past that God does not know about. All right? God knows everything that has happened in the past, every single detail. God doesn't forget. All right? He doesn't say, "Oh, I don't really remember that. I don't remember that. Oh, that happened a long time ago." No, His knowledge embraces the past. Not only does His knowledge embrace the past, His knowledge He's knowledgeable of the present, the here, the now. There's nothing that is happening in our life or in the church or in our world, in our government. There's nothing that's going on right now that escapes God's attention. He is totally aware of all that is going on. So His knowledge embraces the past. He knows everything that happened in the past. He's knowledgeable of the present. He knows what's going on in the here and now. And God's knowledge even reaches into the future. In Peter's great sermon, Peter referred to the foreknowledge of God. Now, foreknowledge of God indicates that the future has always been disclosed to God. What happens to us is day to day. We do not know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen next week. Nobody knows. Now, we can predict, we can say, well, the probability of this happening is this. We can look at odds, and we can look at all the factors that go into that. But God does not, His knowledge is not based on probability. God knows because He is sovereign. He knows all. He is omniscient. And so His knowledge reaches into the future. There's nothing about the future that God does not know. You know, you cannot throw God a surprise party. You can't. God knows the future before the future is even unfolding. Today I want us to think about the knowledge of God, ultimately bringing our thoughts and focusing it into what Peter describes as the foreknowledge of God. And so that's kind of what I want us to download this morning, is the foreknowledge of God. God is sovereign. God is in control. God is all-knowing. And God exercises His foreknowledge. God knows what's going to happen before it takes place, before it happens. And so let's start with what we'll call the perfect knowledge of God. Okay, point one, the perfect knowledge of God. When we look at the knowledge of God as described in the Bible, all right, now each one of us can stand up and we can talk about an aspect of God's knowledge, but as we look at the Bible, we find that God has perfect knowledge.